Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode and the last episode of our CSS Flexbox mini-series. Now in this video, we're going to be making a nav bar or navigation bar, similarly to how you see if you look at the Google tab on the right here. You see this About, Store, Gmail, Images, this is a navigation bar. And we're not going to copy this, of course, but we're going to make something somewhat similar using all of the language or all of the concepts that we have learned in the last 5 episodes. So I'm going to basically be speed coding this, or live coding / speed coding this. So I'll be looking things up as I need to, if I do need to. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can pause the video whenever you need to see the code. But yeah, because I think, if the only way for me to get through this in one video is to do this like somewhat fast. So we're going to start off by opening up an index.html or creating an index.html and using the exclamation point emit abbreviation is what it's called, exclamation enter. And then I'm going to start this up as a live server just so we can see our code as we write it. So yeah, here is our basic website. We're going to, of course, make sure it's working by creating an h1 that says hello world. And there we know that it is linked up. Perfect. So we are going to make our nav bar. Of course, let's go ahead and start by making a header, and then we're going to put a nav inside it. And then inside our nav, we're going to put an OL, or my bad, a UL, just to basically hold the different items. And then inside that UL, we're going to create, I think maybe like, let's go with 5 items, 5 nav items on this website. So I'm just going to basically copy and paste this a bunch of times. Oops. Boom. So let's just make a home section and about section. Let's make a search. No. I'm basically copying Google at this point, I'm realizing. Let's just make a contact section, a, let's see, fun facts section, and then an extra section. I'm not very creative with these names, but what we're going to end up doing is we're going to have the home and about on the left side and these 3 on the right side using the margin kind of concept that we learned. So of course, the first step to get in order is to make this a kind of Flexbox layout in itself. So we're going to have to link a CSS, so link : CSS, or if you type this out, and then href is style.css, so let's go ahead and create that file, style.css, boom. Now, once we're here in style.css, we are going to select our navbar, and let's, for good practice, let's go ahead and give our UL an ID of, or no, you know what, we can just go here, we can just select the UL like that, and then give it a flex or a display of flex to make it a Flexbox layout. That's all good. And then let's go ahead and remove our bullet points. So we want to come up here and give it a text or list style type. And then as none instead of square. And let's see what's going on here. Yep, okay, I misnamed my CSS file. I named it styles.css and I linked to style.css, so that's why. Let me rename this to style.css and boom. Now we have a flex layout that has no bullets. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. And then I guess let's go ahead and just give these LIs, these flex children, some decoration. So we're going to create another selector in our CSS for nav UL ULI to select each of those buttons. Let's give it a width of actually, let's not give them a width. Let's just give it a background color of maybe, let's just use some default colors. So Alice Blue, that's a little bit too light. Let's quickly look up a color palette. Let's just use this color palette generator, or you know what, let's just use one from here. Okay, great. Let's just use this. And then background color, and then I'm just going to copy 17, 17, 3, F5F. So that's this kind of dark blue color. And then so that's, I don't like that actually. Let's use the second one. 2063, 9B. So that's a little lighter. Okay, I like that. That's fine. So we're going to go ahead and now add some spacing in between the items. So let's add some margin. Let's add a top margin. If you remember this, I briefly mentioned it. The first number in margin is the top, which is 0. I don't want any margin. And then on the right side, I want maybe 20 pixels. And what happens is when I close this off here, what's going to end up happening is it's going to set top margin to 0 and right margin to 20 pixels. But because I don't specify the bottom and left margins, this actually counts for the kind of vertical margin. So top and bottom is 0, and then right and left are both 20. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, maybe 5. So there we go. Now there's some spacing in between our things. And then I'm going to actually give us a color of white, just because I think that would make it so that you can see our kind of buttons better. So yeah, now we have a simple Flexbox layout here. First order of business, I guess, is to separate home and about, and then these three. So we want to quickly maybe select our about one, and let's give it an ID of about, and then let's select that here with hash about, and then give that a margin dash right of auto, which will send these other three to the right side. Now my question actually is why is there so much space here? Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger, just to see what's going on. So this UL has some left padding for whatever reason, so I'm just gonna get rid of the padding, and that should fix that, yeah. So there was some padding for whatever reason in this UL, and I just destroyed it basically. Oh, I guess that's just the natural padding for the bullet points. So yeah. So now we have a nice website with home and about on the left side and contact, fun facts, and extra on the right side. Now I'm going to set, yeah, I'm going to make these all buttons. So these LIs, we're going to make their widths. Let's add some inner padding maybe to make it a little bit bigger. Let's add maybe 3 pixels and 3 pixels, which will basically add some spacing in between the text and the edges. Maybe let's add a little bit more, maybe like 4 and 4. And then let's actually make maybe 5 for, okay, there. So now we've got some interesting looking buttons here, and then let's give them a border radius to make them look a little bit better. Let's give it a border radius of maybe 10 pixels. A little bit too much. Let's make it 8 pixels. There we go. So yeah, they have slightly rounded corners, and we have this nice thing here. And what if we actually want to give our navbar itself a background, which is what, like most websites, or if you look at my website, actually, I don't think I have, no, it's a monochromatic, but the navbar technically does have a background. It's just the same color as the rest of the site, like this here. But let's give it a background for just effect. So we want to give our nav the background. So we just want to select the nav like this. And then let's just give it a background color of maybe, let me find something. Let's try this. Hash 3CAEA3. Boom. Let me stay consistent with my highlighting or my capitalizing. Okay, so yeah, we have an interesting looking background with this. I guess the problem is that I think body has some inner padding itself. Yeah, body has some margin. So the body is actually, remember the head, we have the head and the body, and the body itself actually has some natural margin to it, which we can remove basically to make sure that this background surrounds the whole thing. So let's add a selector for the body element, and then we can just remove the margin. So margin 0. And that'll remove the left and right margin. And now I'm wondering is why is there a top kind of thing? What is this here? I guess let's give it HTML and body, and then let's say margin 0, padding 0 maybe. That does not fix it. Let's see here. Why is it doing that? So this is our header. So yeah, okay, good time to look something up. So let's go ahead and go to Google. Okay, let's see why is, so HTML or CSS top spacing, or CSS white above, or white space above header, there we go. So try margin top 0, H1, that is maybe it. Oh, I'm stupid, yeah, it's the UL. All right, that makes sense. So the problem that is happening here is our unordered list, which is this here, actually does have some margin, as you can see orange, and that's pushing the background away. So let's go ahead and just remove the margin from here. Margin is also 0 there, and boom. Now we have it pressed up against the top. And let's actually, instead, let's add some top padding, maybe 10 pixels and then 10 pixels. Or, yeah, just 10 pixels and then 0. So yeah, now we have a nice nav bar. It's nice and blue, or like teal, and then we have blue buttons, and then we have our things all spread around here. Now I guess, let me think, is there something else we want to add maybe? We could add, like we can make these all links, I guess. So that would be another thing to add, is just add some A tags around these. Which, let me just, oops. Yep, just adding some A tags around basically. And then we can give it hrefs of, or actually, whoops, that was my bad. So what we could actually do, and I'm going to use some VS Code specific shortcuts here, but I think, can you surround, let me just verify something. I think you can surround the links themselves or the items themselves in links. Let me just make sure. That's an li, then an a. Okay, so I see. So yeah, the best thing we can do here is we can go ahead and just select all of these. And the way I'm doing that in VS Code is I'm holding Alt while I select. And then I'm just going to create some of that. And then I'm going to come over here. And then we're going to come back here. And then let's close the A's, or /A. There we go. And then let's just give them some hrefs like that. And now, let me go back to our site. Now when we click on the buttons themselves, they go blue like this. And that's one quick fix that we can make is, let's create a selector for the A's themselves, because now it's in nav, ul, li, li, and then it's an A tag. And then we can just say, color is white, because we don't want it to be blue like this. And if we want to remove the underline, we can just do a text dash decoration, none. And that removes the underline. And now we have a fully working nav bar that you can click on the buttons. They don't go anywhere, of course, because we haven't set them to go anywhere, but that has been a pretty short demonstration of like what Flexbox is and how powerful it is. So yeah, it took me like, I don't know how long this video was, maybe like 10 minutes is my best guess. I'm gonna be completely wrong, but 10 minutes to make like this whole layout, which is cool because like before learning Flexbox, this was pretty much not impossible, but it was pretty difficult to do, unless like you really knew your your CSS. But I don't even know CSS that great, but I was able to make this in a matter of minutes just using Flexbox, which is really powerful. So yeah, if you enjoyed this series and if you missed any of the previous concepts, like if you got confused at any point in time, go ahead and check out the playlist, which is linked in the description. The next kind of CSS mini-series that I'm planning to make is the CSS grid series. And if Flexbox is for one-dimensional layout, grid is for two-dimensional layouts, which is like basically the entire website you can build with grid if you wanted to. Like a blog kind of website works really well with grid. And we're going to be getting into that in the next series. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.